Hey everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Smith's YouTube channel. Today we're going to be moving forward with our drawings that we have been working on. We've been focused on orthographic, which if you remember actually means straight picture or straight view. So today we're going to move into our third drawing. At this point I'm going to start leaving some of the things out. So as I work through the drawing, I'm going to do one or two views, and then you're responsible for doing the third. All right, at some point you're going to be asked to do a complete drawing by yourself without my video help. So we're just making progress towards that, so that way you'll be able to do that. All right, so let's jump into it. So first things first, make sure you have your drawing stuff ready to go. And what we're going to be working on today is this image here. This is a tool post slide. All right, so a little bit different. First time I think we've seen angles. We are not going to be using a protractor, so we're going to be guesstimating those angles for this drawing. Later on, I'm going to give you all the tools, including a compass and a protractor. But for now, we're just kind of eyeballing things as we're learning to draw. All right, so first things first, if you have not made your title block, you need to make sure you do that. Remember, you start by going 2 in, 2 down, or 2 up from every edge, so that you have a 2x2 in every corner, and then at that point you connect the lines. Remember to make these dark lines because they are going to be on your final drawing, so you can go ahead and make them dark. Alright, unless you're just not very good with your ruler, then draw them light, so that way if you do mess up you can erase it fairly easily. Alright, so now I'm going to move up 2 blocks. Guys, I'm not explaining this because this should be, for some of y'all, this is title block number like 4 or 5, and for others this is probably 3 or 4. Alright, so I go 2.5 in and mark, and then I go 4 in and mark. Alright, again, if you're counting squares, that's 10 squares in and then 16 squares in, and then 2.5 in, and at that point I should have 4 left over, and I do, so I know that my title block is correct. Alright, I know I went a little long on that line. I'll fix it in a minute. Alright, so class, let's say that you are, I don't know, A2 construction, alright, or B4 manufacturing, or B3 manufacturing. Alright, just make sure you put the name of your class, and then the title for this one is Ortho Tool Post Slide. Alright, then my name, and we're going to say that 1 square is equal to 10. Alright, that'll be our scale again. Alright, so let's get started on this. So, you know me, first thing I like to do is, I'm going to go ahead and open up a second paint here and drag it over for us. Actually, you know, I'm just going to draw them out to the side. So, what we need to do is we need to think about what our drawings are going to look like. So we need to draw, I think I'm going to draw the top view first. So to draw the top view, it's going to look something like this. Alright, because it'll look like a big rectangle. And then we'll have that big square, then this square, then we'll have another one of those. Yeah, so it'll look something like this. But then we'll also have some hidden lines in here for those cuts, just like that. Alright, so let's get started on that. So what I'm going to do first is if you're feeling comfortable, you don't have to worry about breaking your paper into 4 parts. But if you still don't think you can do it without the lines being there, then please go ahead and feel free to draw them in. But in a professional orthographic, you will not have these lines. All right, these lines that cut the whole page in half. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm splitting the page by measuring it out. So that way I know how to center my drawing. All right, and again, this is our top view here. All right, so let's take a look. So what is the dimensions of my top view? Well, I know that I'm looking for this kind of big rectangle here. All right, so I know that it's going to be 110. All right, 110 this way, and then it looks like it's 50 tall. So that means I'm going to need 11 squares by 5 squares. All right, so 11 by 5. So I go over here. If y'all remember, we had 20 squares this way. All right, so I like to always write myself the little reminder. 20 this way, and it was 14 up and down. All right, if your title block is drawn correctly. All right, so if I have 20 this way and need 11, I do 20 minus 11 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So I need to come 4.5 in on either side. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right, and then I'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right, so I know those are going to be my limits going left to right. So up and down, if we look back at what we just figured out, we had 5. We need 5 squares up and down. So if we have 14, 14 minus 5 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So we're doing 4.5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right, so at this point, I can kind of bring down my, I can make a square using those points. And then let's look at our drawing. So we know we're gonna have to, it's actually gonna be a rectangle with then lines in it. All right, we know that. All right, we talked about that a second ago. So let's go ahead and let me focus the camera. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw these lines in. All right, so you're just trying to make sure that you're drawing straight lines across, like so. All right, straight lines up. And straight lines across. And straight line down. All right, so if we did this correctly, we should have 11. All right, so I'm gonna count the full ones first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus a half and a half is 11. All right, so we have a centered block now. All right, so at this point, I need to come in here and I need to draw in these that I see, right? So if I'm looking at the top view down, I'm gonna see all of these on the top. So how far, well actually let's start from this side. So we see that the first one is 18 in. All right, so we're gonna need a line that's 18 in. So I come over here, I know that that's 5 because it's half a block, plus 10. All right, so that's 15. So I need to go about 3 in, which I'm gonna say is right there. And then I'm gonna draw a line up. All right, so at this point I wanna go ahead and start dimensioning so I can just keep track. So we have 18. All right, what's our next line? Well, our next line is also at 18. All right, so we need to come back in another 18. So we just used 3. So it means we have 7, right? Yeah, so we just used 3 of this 10. So we have 7 plus 10, plus we need a 1. All right, so it's going to be like right after this next line. Almost on the line, really. All right, so we now know that that is 18. That is 18. All right, we're going to come back and look. And we know the whole thing is 54. So 18 plus 18 is 36. 54 minus 36. All you big brain people out there can do it in your head. I'm going to type on my calculator. Oh, so it's just another 18. That makes sense. You know, might as well make it symmetrical. All right, so we know we have 9 here. All right, we got 9 because we just used a 1. So 9, and then we need another 9. So that means we're going to be right before the next line. All right, so right before that next line. So right there. All right, and at that point we can, you know, we could dimension it, or we can just let it be. We don't have to have that dimension on there. All right. We don't have to have that dimension. All right, because we can figure it out because we know that this whole thing right here. All right, so on the bottom I'm going to add the dimension for the 54. So right down here, go ahead and add that 54. So that way we can just always figure out our math. Oh, I'm sorry guys. I forgot to turn that off. So all I did was I went over and just right before this line I drew a line down, and then I added the 54 dimension down there. Sorry about that. All right, so at this point we pretty much have all our lines. You are going to see a little bit of space here, like in between that, because there's a line here. All right, sorry, I did it again. All right, there's a line here. Change the color. There's a line here, and there's a line here. So there is going to be a little bit of a gap here that we're going to see on this drawing. But how to figure that out, I don't really see anything that we have to figure that out other than this angle. But that's still going to be hard for us to figure it out. So what I want you to do is I just want you to go in here and just kind of about 5 over, just add another line going up. All right, and that'll signify that little slope that we can see but kind of can't see. So yeah. All right, and finally we need hidden lines. So you will notice that 12 in, so at 12 in, all right, I'm going to use blue. At 12 in here, right, we are going to have a hidden line there. And then the 12 in here, right there, there should be a hidden line there. So really we just need to come in, right? This was 18. 18 minus 12 is 6. So we just need to go over 6 and over 6. All right, over 6 and over 6. So on my drawing, I know that this was 3. So 3 and then like 3. So right there. And then this was 1. So I need to go about to the halfway point there. And I'm just going to draw hold on. We need 6, right? So we need to come in 6. So 3 and 3, yeah, so it's going to be like right there. It's not going to quite be, it's going to be a little over half a block. All right, and just come in. Once you go over 6, come in here. And there we have our hidden lines for that underneath area. So what you can then do is come in here and dimension that and say that this is 12. And you can come in here and dimension this one. And I think the second dimension off our drawing is the middle. Yep, so it gives us the 12 and also the 30. All right. So what I'm going to do is I did top. All right. I'm also going to do the front view. I realize the side view is the hardest, but at this point, I want to see what you can do. All right. So I'm going to do the top view, and I've done that. All right, the only thing we're missing, I guess we're missing one dimension on our side. I never put that. We're missing this dimension here. So if you look back, that was 50. All right. But right here, I'm going to do the front view. It's very easy. All right, I'm going to leave you to do the side view, which is a little harder. All right, so on our front view, let's start by centering it. All right, so the front, if you remember, let me get rid of as much as I can. Okay, our front view is if you're standing here looking at it. All right, sorry I didn't switch over again. Front view, this is our front view, is if you're standing here looking at the object right here. So we are only going to see this right here, this little part, and we're going to see this right here, and then I guess we'll see some hidden lines right here, but that's about it. All right, there's not a ton on this front view. All right, so let's start by centering it. So what are our dimensions for the center? Well, we know that our vertical is 50, but how wide? Okay, and it's 60 wide. So we've got 60 wide by 50 tall. All right, so let's go ahead and mark our centers. All right, so we got 60 this way. All right, so 20 minus 6 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. All right, so that's going to be that dimension. Now up and down we had 5. All right, so it's 50 tall, so 5 squares. 14 minus 5 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So we're going to come down and up 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right, and those are going to be our boundaries for this drawing. All right, it's going to fit within there, within those specific marks. All right, so let's take a look. So we know we have a straight line across the bottom, and then 25 up, we also have a straight line across. All right, so what I'm saying is, here, I'll use green. We have this line here, and then this line here, which is 2.5 squares up. So let's go ahead and just mark those in. So I already have my boundaries. So I'm going to mark that across. Like that. All right, then I need 2.5. Well, there's the 0.5, and then right there and right there. So I can go ahead and mark that, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and write those dimensions while I'm here. So this was 25. And this was 60. All right, so if we go back and take a look at our drawing, we see that we have this little cut in here. All right, I'm gonna try to erase as much as I can. All right, we have this little cut in here that's at a 60-degree angle, and we know that it's 8 up. All right, so I could pretty easily mark the 8, and because we don't have a protractor, we're just gonna kind of eyeball this today. All right, we're still not using exact precision on our angles and our circles yet, but we're gonna get there. All right, so I'm gonna count 8 up, so that's 5, and then 3 more. All right, 5 and 3 more. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of draw a little bit in, right? And a little bit in, like so. And then I'm just gonna connect that and call that 60. All right, so connected that one. All right, this is the one and only time that I'm gonna have you guys eyeball something. But I have to order some class sets of some protractors. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and mark this too and say that this is, so what you do is you kind of extend it out lightly and then draw a half circle and say 60. All right, and then on the side, we can go ahead and dimension this as 8. All right, so now we just need to do our top piece. All right, so if we take a look back at this, all right, we need this square here. I know that wasn't a great square. So how tall is that square? How tall is that square? Well, I don't really have to figure it out, do I? That's the nice thing about setting our boundaries. Because look, we already set the top boundary, so we know that it's got to end there. So I don't actually have to figure out the height because the height's going to be at that top boundary we set. All right, so that's why it's important to center. It's because you can quickly, and we can see here that, okay, well that was 25, the whole thing's 50, so that's also 25, which makes, it just also makes sense. All right, so now we're going to come into our drawing, and the only thing we're missing, I'm going to go back to blue, is we're missing the hidden lines. So we've got to put hidden lines where things we can't see, which means like right there and also right there. So we need 2 hidden lines. The first one is going to be 9 down. All right, so 9 down. So let's go ahead and put that in there. All right, so if this is at the halfway point, which is 5, then I need 5 and then 4. So just right under the next halfway, we're going to draw a hidden line, which is a dotted line all the way across. All right, hidden line. And then our next one is also 9 down. So we need another 9. So we just used 4. So that means 6, and then we need like 3, which is probably going to be about right there. So another hidden line. All right, and then we can dimension these, 9 and 9. So from there to there and to there. That is 9 and 9. All right, so at this point, I think we've got everything we need for that front view. All right, so you've got top, front, and now we need side. So as I told you guys are going to be working on the side view. So when you finish, it should look something like this. All right, this is mine from another different year. But one thing I want to point out is I've already got this line here. You see that line? We've got that line there. We've got our hidden line there, our hidden line there, and we've even got that little piece there that's cut out. All right, so make sure you're using your front drawing to help you with the side. All right, because really 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got 4 or 5 dimensions already on that front view that you can use on the side. All right, so when you're done, your drawing should look something like this, but I'm gonna take that away. All right, because the expectation is you should be able to, all right, at this point I've given you basically most of the pieces of the puzzle. You have the isometric view, and then we have the top view, and we have the front view. So at this point, using those 3 pieces of information, you should pretty easily be able to draw a centered side view. All right, and I guess we're gonna see, kind of hoping it works out. But that's it for this video, guys. So for the rest of class, you're working on your own to draw this side view, which I will be taking a look at and giving you feedback. So just as always, let me know if you need anything, and I appreciate you. Thanks.